Tom Platz. Welcome to Hollywood, California, Universal Studios, site of the 1988 Mr. Olympia contest. Bodybuilders from all over the world are here to compete tonight for the Mr. Olympia contest, bodybuilding's most prestigious event. The favorite tonight, of course, is Mr. Olympia, Lee Haney. Lee Haney has won it 4 times in a row. Can he win it 5 times? And can he ever dream of coming close to matching Arnold Schwarzenegger's record of winning it 7 times?
Sit down.
Over the years, we heard a lot about the weights of the bodybuilders in the magazines, and there's a lot of speculation. This year, it's going to be official. You'll see them, and you'll know what they weigh. Take your seats, gentlemen. First bodybuilder, Rich Gaspari.
Rich's focus this year was reducing his body weight over last year. He felt it was too heavy last year and it appeared too blocky on stage. And making his waist look smaller, he feels he'll be able to be more of a threat, more of a viable threat to Lee.
209.5 pounds.
I'm going into this show going in the best that I can be, and that's what I want to do. I want to go in to this show with people saying, man, Gaspari looked phenomenal. Gaspari was the best shape I've ever seen him. You know, and to me, that's more satisfaction than winning this contest. But, you know, I was saying this the whole way training for this contest, but now it comes down to the wire, and I want to win. I want to win this thing bad.
Good reps. Stay with it.
Come on. Bang him and bang him. Let's go. Let's go.
You know, I feel that I've improved my symmetry. I kept that mass in my upper body, but I lost it all in the waist. So now I have more of a streamlined physique, having a smaller waist, but a thicker upper body, a thicker back. Everyone says my back's improved and my arms have improved. Plus, I think with time and maturity, competing in the Mr. Olympia, I started competing in the Mr. Olympia at 22 years old. It's relatively young. And being that young, I feel my muscles haven't matured yet. Now being 25, they seem to look a lot more mature. You know, I have more of that density, but I still think I haven't reached my peak. You know, I still feel that I can continue to keep getting better to at least 30, 35.
Gaspari reminds me a lot of Frank Zane in the old days. Places importance on every single detail, no matter how minute it may be.
It's about 4 ounces for you, Gerard.
He's a very educated bodybuilder in terms of the scientific data and how to apply it to himself, which is probably the reason he looks like he does.
Yeah, I cook for my
He has more detail, and he works with his genetics probably better than anyone in the contest, especially when it comes down to the top 3 or the top 2, and little bitty details become very big details.
No, I'm cooking this one. This is artichoke noodles. It doesn't have any wheat in it, and I don't eat any wheat products right now before a show. Because wheat has, it's called gluten, and a lot of times gluten can make you hold estrogen, and that can make you retain water.
What is estrogen?
Estrogen is a female hormone. I don't want any of that in my body right now. I'm not depleting now. All the other guys are killing themselves. I was ready a month ago, and basically what I did is just stay on my diet and let myself get harder and harder. The week before a show, what I do is basically watch my sodium level the last 2 days before, and that's all I do. You know, I've been a pro now since 1984, and I've tried every diet, you know, carb depletion, sodium loading, carb loading, and the best diet for me is like everyone usually says, like a week out, I always look my best. If I go on a carb depletion, the only thing I'm going to do is end up eating my muscle away. And then I'm going to start carbing up, and if you don't carb up enough, you're going to end up looking flat for the show. If you carb up too much, you're going to end up holding water. So what I do is try to just stay on a steady calorie intake, and if it looks like I'm losing weight, I'll increase the calories. If it looks like I'm gaining weight, I'll decrease the calories, and that's basically what I do. The last week, I try to drink a lot of water, lot of distilled water to flush out any impurities in my body. The last 2 days I watched my sodium intake, mostly by cutting out foods like egg whites, which have a high amount of sodium, and that's about it 2 days before the show, and that's all I do. Well, my fish is cooking, steaming away, some orange roughy. Here I am, the fish. Doesn't that look good? I set a new standard in the sport where you have to be almost ultra ripped, and it's to a point where now I have to live up to my standard. If I come in a show slightly off, even though I'm still more ripped than the other competitors, if I'm not Gaspari ripped, it means I'm smooth. I see many bodybuilders, you know, they're coming in really ripped, but they're fainting backstage, or they're cramping up because what they're doing is they're trying to get themselves ripped, and then they end up taking diuretics, dangerous diuretics, which I never do. They lose all the water, their skin looks really tight, and they're ripped, but a lot of times the day after a show, they start drinking and eating, and they'll blow up like balloons. I think a lot of the knowledge I learned from dieting was me reading books. I try to get as many books as I can on dieting. You know, I get books, handbooks of the nutritional contents of food here. Has a listing of all different foods, telling you exactly how many calories, carbs, fats, sodiums. And I read all kinds of books on nutrition and, you know, anything to do with nutrition or supplementation, I read about. And I think that's what's helped me out a lot in my dieting. And just me experimenting with my body, I've learned what works for me. This skin there's not much left on it. And usually this is the place where you hold water, because with gravity, you know, the water usually goes right down to your ankles. But you can see right here that there's no water that I'm holding now, and it's 5 days before the show. So I feel that I'm ready for this one.
One thing I notice about Rich Gaspari is that he has a very strong center. He believes in Rich Gaspari, and he demands that Rich Gaspari be better than Rich Gaspari at all moments. And that, to me, is one of the definite trademarks of a champion.
Being a bodybuilder like I am, and being the way I am, I'm very, very much focused. And a lot of times I got to sacrifice a lot, even in being in relationships where, you know, with, you know, having my girlfriend, I think about being in the Mr. Olympia and not think about, you know, people's feelings almost, and I'm almost like feelingless because I go into this contest and nothing else matters. And it gets almost bad that way because this is the type of attitude I have when I'm getting ready for a contest. But after a contest, I have to basically just let my mind free and be a normal person. Hard as stone.
Next competitor from Holland, the happy gentleman himself, Barry DeMay. Barry DeMay. Barry's been training in California for the last month or two, maybe more.
Barry DeMay. This guy looks ready. I've never seen him in this kind of condition.
Want to take the microphone?
This is interesting to note in Samir's history. He already is Mr. Olympia. And in my opinion, he has more genetic talent than anyone on that stage.
205.
What's up, we the Fat Boys? This is Samir P right here. We got Lee Haney inside, 4-time Mr. Olympia, and we go for the 5th time. We here to celebrate with him, you know what I'm saying? We helping him. Right,
but he got a competition in there. He got Buff on here, you know what I'm saying?
But Buff gonna win the Mr. Olympia contest.
Right.
Hey, Buff.
Punch that iron, boy.
No pain, no
How
gain.
can he do that, man? I'm ready, man. How can he beat me?
I allowed Lee Haney to win the Mr. Olympia. 1984, I said, Lee Haney, come on in. I made a major mistake. I said, welcome, Lee Haney, you can have the Olympia. And then I haven't competed with him for 3 consecutive years.
Have you ever competed against him and won?
I won. He won 1 and I won 1. And right now, the winner take it all, you know? So Lee Haney's animal kingdom would be ruled by a lion.
Samir, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before the Mr. Olympia, looked absolutely perfect. He was the winner in my mind and everybody else's mind.
I was very cut at the body weight of 212, and Dr. Spatini is here witnessing what I'm saying. I was cut up at 212, very, very cut up. And right now my goal is to be on September 10th about 208. Right now I'm 202, my reserve is totally out, which is one of my procedures. You know, I deplete all glycogen from the muscle.
No excess water in your body at all, not even in the muscle.
Believe it or not, I mean, I don't know if this face can tell you something, you know. It just, I feel like I was in a concentration camp.
To train when you're depleted, you have no energy. The weight goes up and down, but you don't feel it. You don't get a pump at all. Depletion, as far as what it does to the mind, you don't have a lot of sugar, a lot of glycogen to the brain, and you get very tired and foggy, and you get confused. This depletion thing is difficult mentally.
It's really weird, though. I hear it from so many people. Of course, I don't know if Tegan will share that with me. It's a human nature. When you can't have something, you want it. You know, when off season, I see the ice cream or the cake, I really don't care for it. But after 1 week of diet, Jesus Christ, I want it. Give me that. I want to eat anything. Haney has to train very hard. Has to be very, very ready to take a good second.
Now that Mike Christian, who took 4th in last year's Mr. O, is out of the lineup, how do you think you're going to place next Saturday?
Forget it. Mike Christian was never on my mind, and he'll never be. And as far as I'm concerned, he claimed that I bark and I don't bite, but who is he to say that I'm Mr. Olympia? He hasn't won nothing. To me, he hasn't beaten Lee Haney. He hasn't even taken one first spot from Lee Haney. When you want to open your mouth, you better be somebody before you talk. And so, you know, he was never on my mind, and I think he's a great champion, but definitely he's not in my caliber. You want to see the legs? Is that good enough? And that. And here's the calves. And here's another one.
I've been with him prior to contests before, and we just, you know, we try to find different ways to release all the tension and stress that he's under, and just take things in stride. That's all you can do. Prepare meals for him and see to it that he has what he wants at the time he wants it, and I'm just there to help him whenever he needs my help.
My wife and I were going to go to the health food store, pick up some low-sodium stuff, lima beans and special pastas and all these distilled water, little tricks that we do usually on nutrition. So we're on our way.
Ralph Muller, he towers over the rest of the lineup. What is he, 6'7", I think?
288 pounds.
288 pounds.
Our next competitor, Albert Beckles. Albert is our youngest competitor.
Isn't it amazing how a guy that's 58 years old can look this good? Geez, I hope to be living at age 58 rather than be competing for the Olympia title.
200 pounds even.
Luis Freitas.
Luis from Brazil, now training in California. This also is his first Mr. Olympia.
He just won the universe. His father is a very prominent industrialist in Brazil.
Weighs in at 219 and a half.
And this is his first debut in the Mr. Olympia contest. It's like, you know,